Hello everyone and welcome to my The Bold Fans channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to teasers for Tuesday, August 18th episode of The Bold and the Beautiful B&B, Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, will interrogate Steffy Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, when her daughter returns to the Cliff House appearing distressed. When fans last saw Steffy and Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor, inside Forrester Creations, they appeared poised to attack one another. It appears that B&B will eventually jump ahead to the morning following their encounter, and possibly use flashbacks to reveal what transpired. On Tuesday's program, Michael Maloney and Sandra Aguilar will portray two members of the cleaning crew. After a hot night together, maybe the cleaning staff will wake Steffy and Carter. In an attempt to conceal their actions, Carter and Steffy might pretend to have fallen asleep while working late. Nevertheless, if the cleaning staff believes something transpired between Carter and Steffy, they may spread rumors in the aftermath. In any event, Steffy will return home, where it seems Taylor will have coffee and baked goodies from Deacon Sharp, Sean Cannon, before her daughter gets back. When they're by themselves, Taylor will question Steffy about what's going on. Steffy will at least reveal all of the craziness that occurred in Monaco with Sheila Carter, Kimberlyn Brown, even if she doesn't reveal anything about her night with Carter. When Taylor finds out that Steffy has decided to end her marriage and removed her ring set, she will be stunned. Finn plans to return to Los Angeles as soon as possible in order to locate Steffy. Before it's too late, Finn will be prepared to make a sincere request for forgiveness and hope that he may somehow mend his marriage. Naturally, Finn won't be aware that Steffy and Carter have been having sex behind closed doors, so the shocking revelation may undoubtedly cause a stir later on. Will Steffy and Finn's marriage endure all of their hardships? According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Finn and Steffy will face a lot of turmoil, so keep an eye on the CBS soap opera. The Forrester mansion's enormous windows let in morning light that felt harsher than usual, a dazzling California glare that left no space for secrets or shadows. Steffy Forrester Finnegan had returned home in the wee hours of the morning. Her commercial trip from Monaco a haze of restless thoughts and champagne flutes. The rings that had once represented a second chance following shootings and betrayals were still in Finn's hands when she left him there on that beach. It felt like she had finally put down those rings. The one-night error with a stranger had not been the reason for the walk of shame, as she angrily referred to it in her own thoughts. It had involved leaving the man who was meant to keep her safe, the man who had flown across the ocean with the woman who had once attempted to murder them both. She had hardly slept at all. The children remained with Taylor, a short-term arrangement that suddenly seemed permanent in its ambiguity. After stealthily entering the house, Steffy rinsed off her travel-related dirt and put on a cozy cashmere sweater that did little to thaw the chilly knot in her chest. The smell of coffee was overpowering by the time she arrived downstairs. In the kitchen, Taylor stood erect, her eyes piercing with a mother concern that could quickly escalate into something more aggressive. Without saying anything, Taylor placed a mug on the counter. Steffy accepted it, appreciating the warmth on her hands. Neither spoke for a considerable amount of time. Only the far-off hum of the city awakening beyond the gates broke the long calm. At last, Taylor remarked, "You look like you haven't slept in days." Her tone was measured and composed, like that of a psychiatrist who had spent years listening to the suffering of others while keeping her own family's suffering front and center. "I also learned about the flight. All the way home, champagne." Steffy looked into the dark liquid and said, "That's not like you." It seemed essential. After seeing Finn stand there and defend her, I needed something to ease my tension. He realized he knew after spotting those 8 toes on the seashore. Mom, he knew she was on the plane. Taylor's jaw tensed as he sat next to her for hours without saying anything. She had a difficult past with Sheila Carter, the woman who had previously shot her and whose shadow continued to loom over all of the Forrester family's generations. "I am aware of Sheila's potential. I've experienced it. What does it solve, though, if you walk out on your marriage, return the rings, and fly home by yourself while Finn is still over there fumbling? The kids require consistency. You require clarity." Steffy put the mug down more forcefully than she meant to, adding, And right now you're operating on pure emotion. A feeling. By omission he was lying. He put her comfort ahead of my security. Every time I warned him or told him how I felt about Sheila, he nodded before acting in the exact opposite way. Now that he's apologized, am I meant to act as though it doesn't matter? With her hands on the marble counter, Taylor took a step closer. I'm not requesting that you act fake. I want you to reflect. Sheila is not Finn. He is the man who, after she shot him, battled his way back to you. He is your children's father. In the airport lounge, it may seem powerful to walk away in a fit of rage, but everyone else is left to pick up the pieces. Include myself. While you were in Monaco, I kept this family together. The children pose inquiries. Ridge is enraged. The comments hit with the accuracy of someone who has practiced them. And now you're home looking like you've been through a war and refusing to talk about what happens next. Steffi's cheeks began to heat up. This is the grilling then. Are you upset that I didn't stay and have a conversation with the woman who attempted my murder? That I failed to acknowledge with a grin that my husband maintains a covert connection to his biological mother? I'm disappointed that you made a public spectacle of ending your marriage before you gave yourself any space to breathe, Taylor said in an even but tense tone. The plane and the champagne are only two aspects of the walk of shame. Has to do with the message you sent. The whole family is watching you come home by yourself with no rings. Last night Carter spotted you. Don't assume that I haven't already heard the murmurs. Steffi, these things begin with two broken people leaning on each other after too many beers. Steffi felt her stomach turn. Once they start, they rarely stay simple. The night before, she had discovered Carter at Forrester Creations, both of them raw from their own failing marriages. Steffi was devastated by Sheila's return, while Daphne's diagnosis and departure had left him reeling. They had conversed. They had consumed alcohol. They had stayed together longer than friendship demanded. The possibility lingered in the air like smoke, but nothing permanent had transpired yet. Taylor's intuition had identified it with unsettling precision. With a reflexive denial, Steffi stated, "Nothing happened with Carter. We conversed. That's all," Taylor said, narrowing her eyes. "For the time being. However, you are susceptible. He is susceptible. Furthermore, the worst choices are made when one is vulnerable. I saw you ruin yourself for Hope and Liam once. I saw you come dangerously close to losing everything when Sheila shot you." Steffi moved away from the counter and paced in the direction of the windows, saying, "I will not stand by while you repeat the pattern because Finn made a mistake in judgment." The garden outside appeared too orderly and flawless for the chaos she was experiencing. "Do you believe that patterns are at play here? This has to do with trust. Finn told me he thought Sheila had changed while he stood on that beach. After all of this, following the shooting, following years of watching over us, he chose her story above mine, looking me in the eye. How can I recover from that?" Taylor trailed behind, taking measured steps. "You return by realizing that love is not a single instance of failure. It is the culmination of all subsequent moments. Finn is currently in a panic. He's attempting to get in touch with you. He's attempting to atone. He's already been torn apart by Ridge, and things will only get worse. However, you are the one who chooses the simple way out if you decide that the marriage is finished due to a single, disastrous mistake of judgment. The charge hurt. And I raised you to fight harder than that." Steffi pivoted. "Simple. Standing a few feet away from the woman who attempted to kill us both while she sunbathed was not an easy task. The realization that my husband had concealed the fact was not simple. Mom, I battled. I spent years fighting." For a brief moment, Taylor's countenance softened before hardening once more. "I'm tired of fighting the same battle with different weapons. Then engage in more intelligent combat. Make use of your rage. Make use of the betrayal. However, don't discard the foundation you've established. Parents that can look each other in the eye are what the kids deserve. Additionally, you deserve a partnership that can withstand Sheila Carter's worst traits. Yes, leave if Finn is unable to provide you with that. But do it with your eyes open, Not after a night spent leaning on the closest warm body and a plane full of champagne, Steffy said, forcing back the tears that threatened to spill. She detested Taylor's ability to map the terrain of her terror so precisely. You have no idea how it felt, observing those toes, being aware of his presence with her. I understand more than you think, Taylor muttered. The safety I thought we had was gone in an instant. I've experienced the same icy fear while standing in rooms with Sheila. You have already condemned me for the decisions I made that endangered this family and involved Deacon. Yes, I am questioning you, because I recognize in you the same impulse that I have struggled with. The name of Deacon struck like a stone. The impulse to burn it all down when the fear gets too loud. The proposal that Taylor had turned down just days before was still fresh in Steffy's mind. She still shuddered at the thought of her mother being connected, even tangentially, to the man who had previously been Sheila's husband. Don't make things worse for you. Finn is not Deacon. And I still don't fully comprehend the risk of your relationship with him, Taylor said with a sardonic smirk. Exactly. Thus, you are aware of the need to defend. Before you conclude that your marriage cannot be saved, apply this to your own. Finn is not flawless. He never said he was. However, he adores you. He adores those kids. He is currently attempting to regain your trust while traveling between Monaco and Los Angeles. Steffy slid into one of the kitchen chairs. The least you can do is decide whether you're willing to let him try. She felt the burden of the previous 48 hours bearing down on her shoulders. Leaving the beach, getting on the plane, and choosing distance over another dispute had all seemed liberating at the time of the walk of shame. It now seemed like the beginning of a lengthier, colder period of seclusion. She was seated across from Taylor. Today, I'm not begging for your forgiveness. When he arrives, I want you to stop running long enough to hear what he has to say. Additionally, I'm requesting that you avoid Carter until you have a clear head. Steffy looked up and said, This family doesn't need another tangled web of comfort that turns into regret. And if I'm unable to trust him once more, if I hear him protecting her and see those toes each time I close my eyes, Taylor responded, then we deal with that. Together. But not by making snap judgments that affect everyone else's lives. When it comes to confronting difficult realities, you've always been the strongest of us. The coffee had gone cold. Don't let this moment turn you into someone who prefers the dramatic exit over the difficult conversation. Nevertheless, Steffy put her hands around the mug because she needed its firm weight. The day went on indifferently outside. Finn was somewhere on his way home, with explanations and apologies that might never be sufficient. Carter was awakening somewhere to the same sense of emptiness she carried. And here, in the kitchen where so many family crises had been dissected, Taylor was refusing to turn away or soften the edges of the truth, just like mothers do when their children are on the brink of a precipice. Steffy took a deep breath. I'm not asking you to go back to the way things were, Taylor said. I don't know if I can. Before you burn the old version entirely, I would like you to determine what the new version looks like. When you stop wandering and begin making decisions, the walk of shame comes to an end. You're still walking at the moment. This time there was a strange stillness. I'm here to make sure you don't walk so far that you can't find your way back to the people who love you, including the man who made the mistake. Less protective, more deliberate. For the first time since the beach, Steffi glimpsed the dim shape of a trail that didn't need to be destroyed right away as she gazed at the cold coffee's surface. It existed, however it was limited and ambiguous. She had been made to witness it by Taylor. It was unclear if she would accept it. Finn's explanations would come soon enough. Carter would be a subdued presence at work, a constant reminder of how quickly loneliness may escalate into a more complex situation. And Sheila, always Sheila, would keep casting her long shadow, pushing the boundaries that the family attempted to establish. Steffi and her mother sat in the kitchen for the time being, letting the grilling settle into something more akin to direction. She had returned home after the walk of shame. Whether or not she could still stay at home would be determined by the discussion that ensued. Finn sent the first text a few hours later saying, "I'm landing soon." Steffy didn't respond right away, so please talk to me. After reading it twice and experiencing the well-known mixture of need and rage, she placed the phone face down on the table. Without saying anything, Taylor observed her. Finally, Steffy was the only one with the decision. However, the grilling was effective. The simple way out didn't seem so simple anymore. The more difficult route, accountability, dialogue, and the potential for re-establishing trust, had been outlined with the accuracy that only a mother who had survived her own conflicts could handle. Steffy got up, carefully rinsed the mug, and put it in the dishwasher. There were still a lot of conflicts to be had during the day. Ridge would insist on explanations. The kids would require assurance. Finn would present whatever truth he had able to piece together to her. In the midst of it all, she would have to decide if the walk of shame had been the first step toward a life without the rings, or if the rings she had returned would ever find their way back onto her finger. Now that the grilling was finished, Taylor stayed at the counter, silent. She had expressed what was necessary. Her daughter was responsible for the remainder. The freedom to choose and the unwavering presence of someone who would make you reconsider your decision before making it final has always been both a burden and a gift in the Forrester family. With each step getting heavier than the last, Steffy made her way to the stairs as the weight of the past few days finally settled into something she could start to bear rather than run. It was the end of the shame walk. The actual work was just getting started. Another emotionally intense chapter of The Bold and the Beautiful is about to begin on Tuesday, August 18th, as Taylor Hayes is unable to ignore the situation with her daughter, Steffy Forrester. Taylor is not the type of mother who will just stand back and act as though nothing is wrong, even when Steffy is attempting to put on a brave front following an embarrassing and emotionally complex turn of events. Taylor is ready to ask the questions that no one else wants to ask when she notices that Steffy has been having difficulties. The main source of conflict is Steffy's alleged walk of shame and how it might affect her relationship with Finn. Steffy has always been very protective of her personal life, particularly in regards to her family and marriage. But even a self-assured lady like Steffy can struggle to control her emotions when confronted with awkward questions. Since Taylor is the one who knows her daughter the best, she will probably be able to tell right away that Steffy is concealing anything. Taylor's worry might easily escalate into a heated questioning. She might start out softly by inquiring about Steffy's whereabouts and well-being. However, Taylor might get far more blunt if Steffy doesn't respond directly. Steffy will probably be frantically trying to explain herself without giving her mother more information than she wants. For Taylor, this goes beyond appearances and rumors. She has witnessed Steffy go through difficult romantic circumstances, familial betrayals, and agonizing miscommunications for years. Taylor is aware of how easily a relationship may be ruined by a single secret. She might therefore believe that Steffy must be truthful before things worsen. The term walk of shame may have multiple implications in the future plot. It can involve Steffy being seen abruptly leaving somewhere, or it might allude to situations that give the impression that she has gone too far. Appearances can be extremely deceptive in soap operas. When someone spots Steffy in the wrong place at the wrong moment, they can instantly form an entirely false opinion. Taylor's questioning can become much more painful as a result. Steffy might maintain that her mother doesn't understand what transpired. She might make an effort to clarify that the tale goes beyond what the public has witnessed. However, Taylor might not be content with ambiguous justifications. She might insist on finding out if Finn knows everything and if Steffy has been hiding anything significant from her husband. Steffy might be especially affected by the question. Although Steffy and Finn's marriage has withstood many challenges, their bond has always been susceptible to secrets and outside intervention. Although Finn has a strong affection for Steffy, one of the most crucial pillars of their union is trust. Taylor may worry that her daughter is jeopardizing everything she has established with Finn if she feels that Steffy has been hiding something. Steffy might be forced to face her emotions as a result of Taylor's interrogation. Steffy can sometimes persuade herself that everything is under control, only to discover that her feelings are far more nuanced than she would like to acknowledge. Taylor might be able to see past that protective posture. As a mother, Taylor might reassure Steffy that she doesn't have to shield herself from reality. Taylor might contend that if something has occurred, keeping it a secret will just make things worse. Taylor may have good intentions, but Steffy may not enjoy the lesson, particularly if she feels her mother is criticizing her. It's also possible that Taylor has already heard rumors. In Los Angeles, secrets are rarely kept a secret for very long, particularly in the Forrester and Logan circles. A single glimpse might turn into a rumor, and rumors can swiftly escalate into a family emergency. Instead of depending on someone else's account of what happened on Steffy's night, Taylor might want to speak with her daughter directly if she has heard anything about it.